My name is Ronald Hart. I'm editor and publisher of the News. I want to report an experience I had, a real experience. I came out of my office to have a look at our annual 4th of July parade. I always enjoy a parade. Seems most people do. But it was my job to write it up for the paper. So I started asking myself questions. What's it all about? Why do we still commemorate the Declaration of Independence? What does it mean? What does it mean today? Then I had the idea of calling on Carl Hasselman. The parade had just passed the Hasselman home when I arrived. Carl had been watching it with his wife, Bertha, and his daughter, Marjorie.
Marjorie?
Mr. Hart, how are you?
Grand parade, wasn't it?
Looked well for
Oh, biggest ever. And Charles and Philip, so handsome.
Oh, now, Father.
So a man cannot be proud of his own sons? Humbug. We always try to have our children home for every holiday.
Excuse me, Mr. Hart, but I must start supper. The boys will be hungry.
Why, certainly.
You'll stay, of course.
Well, thank you, but I...
Oh, of course he'll stay for supper.
I'll help. If I need you, I'll call. You stay here and see that Father doesn't flatten Mr. Hart's ears.
Flatten his ears. Humbug. Sit down, Ronald. Sit down.
Thank you.
Now then, as you were saying...
Well, about this celebration today,
yes.
why do we have it? Do we know what it means? Or is it possible that our Declaration of Independence is a thing of the past that no longer has any meaning for us?
No meaning? Why, it has all meaning. It means our country, our freedom, our dignity as men, our very life.
Yes, Father. Those are noble words. We use them quite a bit. But can we be more specific?
You be specific. It is you have gone to college. It is you have teaching school.
Well, perhaps that's why I'm interested in learning more.
Well, let's put it this way. Where would we be today if there had been no Declaration of Independence?
I know where we would be if we had no Declaration of Independence. I was there. You know, of course, that I'm an immigrant.
Yes.
In the old country, my father was a peasant farmer. The land was good. The crops were good. Our friends were good. These friends, too, were peasants. And their parents, and their grandparents, and their ancestors, as far back as anyone knew. Now, the children would be peasants, and the children's children, and the grandchildren. We were peasants eternally. Up on the hill, there was a castle, a grand castle, centuries old. And as old as the castle was the name of the family that lived there. They were nobles, and the castle was theirs eternally. You cannot know what it means to have your life decided for you before you are born. And the reason you cannot know is that in 1776, the Declaration of Independence said it was wrong. And the Declaration still says that it is wrong. Will you come inside?
Certainly. But since your life was so set over there, what are you doing here? How did you break away?
This is how much the Declaration of Independence means to me. I keep it close to me now because once it was so far away, hardly more than a dream. Back in the old country, we heard tales about the Declaration of Independence, about this land where wealth was plentiful and living was easy. These tales were told for generations. In each generation, some men would break their ancient chains of bondage and fight their way into the new world.
And have you found your plentiful wealth? Your easy living?
I found no streets paved with gold. I have worked hard all my life, but I am comfortable. I am a free man. My children are free. Here comes the parade.
Hail the conquering hero!
Hello, Sergeant.
Hi, Charles. How are you? Glad to see you. Hello, Mr.
Charles. How was the parade?
Oh, fine. Oh, if you ask me, Main Street gets longer every year.
Oh, you're my boy.
Hello, Mother.
Could you help hearing them?
Hi, Mom.
Well, boys, you've come in on a very interesting conversation.
Conversation. Monologue is more likely.
Please, Mrs. Hasselman, this is important to me. Your husband is helping me to a new understanding of the Declaration of Independence.
You see?
Oh, well, I meant only.
Try marching in the parade. Then you'll understand it.
How do you mean, a new understanding?
I'd always thought of the Declaration as, well, as a statement of separation from England.
Oh, but it's so much more than that. Well, I mean,
Speak up, Marjorie. Let us hear what you teach the youngsters in school.
well, if Mr. Hart would really be interested in what I have
I'd
to say.
certainly be interested.
Well, I like to think of the Declaration of Independence as a fourfold document. It is, as you say, first of all, a declaration of separation. It begins when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and later declares that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown. Second, it is an appeal to the sympathies of the world. The colonists recognized and wrote that a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. Third, it is a battle cry, calling upon the men of the colonies to rise up and defend their rights, mutually pledging to each other their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. Finally, as written by Thomas Jefferson, it is a brilliant statement of an ancient doctrine of the rights of man. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
Thank you. You've helped me find the answer to my question.
She understands.
Excuse us, we must look after supper. But please speak loudly. We wish not to miss what you say.
Now, you speak of a country founded on those principles.
Yes.
The question is, what does it mean today? Now, your daughter's first point was that the Declaration of Independence was a declaration of separation. I grant you that we're all affected by that. If we were still subjects of the British Crown or even of the British Empire, we might all live differently in some ways.
Probably no more differently than our Canadian neighbors live today.
But no, they too might be living quite differently if there had been no Declaration of Independence.
How so?
Recall Marjorie saying that it was also an appeal to the sympathies of the world. It helped bring on the French Revolution. It inspired men everywhere to demand their rights, in England, in South America. And look at me. Did it not reach out across the ocean and transform me from a peasant into a free man? And look at my children, these fine boys, Marjorie and the others, you know them. Consider the priceless treasure of freedom that is their birthright.
They're right, yes, but also their obligation.
Ah, true. Obligations and duties must always come before rights. This was so even with the Declaration of Independence itself. The men responsible for it, they held a profound sense of duty to themselves, to their families, and to their neighbors.
Say, Dad,
Yes?
may I say something?
But of course, Philip.
It's funny, but I am beginning to understand something. In the Guard, they talk about it being our job, our duty to guard the heritage of freedom. They tell us our freedom was won in battle, and it's taken several wars to protect it. And the main reason we're in the Guard is to be ready to defend it again if we have to.
So you, Philip, are one of today's Minutemen, and the Declaration of Independence is still a battle cry.
And were it not for the Declaration of Independence, my boys instead might fight and die, so that some king or dictator might extend his tyranny over several million more peasants.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense now. You know, I'm sort of glad I marched in that parade. Oh, with freedom or no freedom, my dogs are really barking.
Mine feel great.
So what?
But aren't all these things really summed up in the fourth point Marjorie made? That the Declaration of Independence is a statement of the rights of man.
You are right, son. That is why I came to the United States, where the Declaration of Independence gave birth to a government whose just powers are derived from the consent of the governed, a government which assures us our right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah. Okay, Dad. Are you happy? Am I happy?
I am. You can be. As I understand the pursuit of happiness, it means the right of each individual under law to seek his own highest good according to his own understanding and ability, while tolerating and trying to understand the ways of others in doing the same.
That makes sense. And it helps explain this idea that all men are created equal. Now, anybody knows that all men are not born alike. Take the job I'm on. I'm supervising this house building job for Mr. Hinman. I've got all sorts of men working for me. No two of them are alike. Some are hard-working, some are lazy. Some are smart, some are dumb. No, they aren't born alike. But they're born equal under the law and before God, with equality of opportunity. Now, they're not equal in wealth. Some have more money than others. None of them has as much money as the man they're building this house for. Neither do I, for that matter. But there's nothing to stop me from making it. And I mean to do it. You see, Mr. Hart, I went to college, and I'm still learning every way I can, on the job, out of books. I'm going to have my own construction company, a big one. And if it grows too big for this town, I'll move to a bigger town. I'm going to be somebody.
Well, Mr. Hart, how's that for the son of an immigrant, huh?
I believe you'll do it, too.
Not me. One big businessman in the family is enough. The only time I'm happy is when I'm working on cars. I'm going to be a mechanic, but the best in town.
Do you see what freedom has done for these children of a peasant farmer? One a businessman, one a mechanic, one a school teacher, and
one a bus driver, and 2 more farmers.
and they own their own farm.
Supper's ready.
You see, all equal, each free to seek his own highest good according to his own understanding and ability.
And each free to think his own thoughts, I can tell you.
Oh, what are we going to have for supper, huh?
Oh, are you hungry?
Well, That's how I found a new angle for my story on the 4th of July celebration. And I found a great deal more. I found new meaning in the Declaration of Independence and in our celebration. I found living proof that it is not a dead historical document, but like the Bible, a vital force and a guide to our living today. I decided to challenge my readers, as I now challenge you. What does the Declaration of Independence mean to you? How is your life better because of the Declaration of Independence? In what ways do you live and act and think only because there is a Declaration of Independence? How is the hope of the entire world brighter because of the Declaration of Independence?